Okay guys, in this video I'm going to give you my prediction what I'm expecting Bitcoin to do early next week. I'm going to give you my prediction what I'm expecting the CPI number to come out on August 10th when it's released. That's the inflation rate. I'm going to show you how high Bitcoin can go if it pushes up, how low it can go if the stock market has a major correction. And at the end of this video, I'm going to give you coordinates to import an Ethereum chart into the Bitget platform, just like I previously did with the Bitcoin chart. I'll cover that again at the end of this video. Remember, you can access all these live charts from website pinned in first comment description, and my Bitget affiliate links also pinned in first comment description as well. So this was a chart I created. I published this on November 14, 2021. And I created this blue fib circle and compared it to this yellow fib circle, which told me right here when we crossed this yellow ring we dropped, told me when we crossed this blue ring we would drop. This is the video where I explained this chart, why I created it and how I created it and what I was expecting. I'll put a link up to this video now if you want to check it out. But this is how it played out. I was telling you when we crossed this ring we dropped, and you can see we came down. Now in this chart, my bottom target was 10K. Now I'm going to show you other charts that show we could possibly go lower than that. Again, this is the strongest support level, but I'm just going to show you charts that show that it's possible we could go lower than that target. So first of all, let's cover inflation and unemployment. So typically, and you can see here, these white lines here, this is inflation, and the blue line or graph is unemployment. Well, first thing that you can see on this chart is whenever unemployment is low and inflation is high, unemployment has to rise before inflation comes down, right? For inflation to come down, unemployment has to go up. You can see this happened over here. When unemployment peaked, inflation bottomed. And right now, inflation is way up there, and unemployment is at an all-time low. So in order to get inflation under control, people have to lose their jobs. Unemployment has to go up. And this is an ideal time. If inflation continues up, the Fed can raise interest rates because unemployment is at an all-time low. So keep that in mind. Now I'm going to give you my prediction, what I'm expecting the CPI data to be on August. So that is this chart. Now keep in mind, when I created this chart, this is a fib channel chart. I teach this in my tutorials how I do this. But I would like to point out, first of all, notice when inflation goes up, it's one straight line. It does not stop until it peaks. You can see that here, you can see that here, 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 and here, and this is currently where inflation is at now. So keeping that in mind, that inflation is just one straight line, I believe that we have some more upside. I believe inflation is going to continue up. Now based on this chart, and again this is a fib channel chart, and just to show you, right here, this line, this yellow line right here, you can see that this was previously support, resistance. So I have two targets, right? So one is 9.84%, and the next target above is 10.91%. But the reason that this is important is because it's not just a support and resistance level. This is actually based on the fib channel chart. You can see this is actually a fib channel, and I just had this line over the top of it. So when I created this fib channel over here, is based off of the structure on the left, right? So that means it's a very important line. I mean, it's part of Fibonacci, and it just happens to be where we found support and resistance. So that means and again, it's either two things. It's either inflation has peaked at this point, which is possible, and if it does peak here and starts to come down, then maybe the bottom's in. Maybe the bottom's in for the stock market, the bottom's in for Bitcoin. I find it very unlikely. I think inflation is going to continue up. My first upside target is going to be right around 9.75. If we push above that, then the next point I think would be 10.91, around there. So again, it's either inflation's peaked or it'll hit these two targets, and we'll find out how accurate this chart is. Hey guys, if you want to pause this video now, let me know in the comment section. Do you think inflation has peaked, or do you think we're going higher? And it'll be interesting to see how accurate this chart is. It's kind of difficult to chart these this inflation data, but it'll be interesting to see how this plays out early next week. So this covers inflation. Just remember, it's a straight line up. It doesn't stop until it peaks. Inflation up is going to be bearish because that means they're going to raise interest rates. Now I want to cover this chart here. Before I do, keep this in mind, guys. I believe we're in an everything bubble. Right here, everything bubble. Housing prices are all-time high. New and used car prices are way up. You have supply chain issues. Inflation is a 40-year high. Interest rates on the rise. U.S. is in a technical recession. COVID resurgence. Ukraine and Russia. China and Taiwan. It's not just a few black swan events. We have a black swan convention going on. All right, keep all that in mind when I show you this. So, and right here you can see in orange is Bitcoin, right? And right here is the S&P in blue. Now, keep this in mind. When Bitcoin was created, all right? So this is the start of Bitcoin right here. Bitcoin created while the indices were in an uptrend. Notice back here, this was what, 2000? This was 2008 when we had that financial crisis. Notice that the markets were kind of sideways and down. Well, Bitcoin came along while the markets were going up. So Bitcoin's been pushing up ever since. But we know Bitcoin follows the stock market because we know when we had a crash, right? We had our COVID crash, which was right here. Notice that Bitcoin came down, right? Even right here, look, the stock market, this was 17th of December 2018. The stock market had a correction, right? Came down. Well, so did Bitcoin. Bitcoin dropped. That's when we bottomed around 3K. We had a COVID crash. Bitcoin dropped from, it was up near 14,000, dropped down to 3,000 something. I have that chart, I'll show you in a minute. But Bitcoin dropped when the stock market dropped. So what I'm trying to show you is we could have a lot more downside for the stock market, and since Bitcoin follows the stock market, the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones, we could have a lot more downside for Bitcoin. And I'm going to show you something here. So if I bring this down, now I'm going to draw this line, I'll cover this in just a bit, but I just want to show you this support level right here. So this could be a target right here. We're going to cover that on another chart. But right now I just want to show you the S&P and just show you why it's possible to have a lot more downside. So notice I have this support level here for the S&P. Notice right here. This right here, this first drop was a drop of around 45%, right? This next drop was a drop of around, hold on. This next drop was a drop of around 56, 57%, right? Well, this gives us two targets, all right? So you can see I have the support level here, right? Found support, so you pull this out. Well, from our all-time high with the S&P, if we drop that much, that's a drop of roughly 45%. And we've dropped that much right here. That's how much we dropped right here. And right here we dropped, what, 56%? Well, we have two support levels. You have this support level here. You have another support level here. So don't think it can't drop that much. It happened right here, right? And that target brings you down too from our all-time high. That brings you down at least, what, 58% brings you here. It depends on when you make contact. If it drops sooner, that's around 56%. Out here is around 58%. But that is a support level to watch. Just like back here, previous support would be support again. So we have two possible support levels. And what I'm getting at, since we don't know if it's going to be this support level or this support level and this support level, we do know that one of those two, if we have a major crash, will find support. And we also know with Bitcoin, this potentially, I mean, right back here, this was a bottom, right? This was support. Just showing you how it matches. Support, support. We found support here and support here. So likely, if the stock market comes down, right? If it crashes down to one of these points, that potentially could be where Bitcoin will bottom. We'll cover that in the next chart. All right, so this chart here. So before I show you this, this was a chart I published on November 14, 2020 for Bitcoin. This chart helped me find the top. Notice how well, I'll show you the actual live chart real quick. Notice how well Bitcoin's respecting this orange fib circle. This is the peak we had back in the 24th of December 2017, 19,800, something like that. Notice right here we hit this ring again. We got rejected. We crashed down to 3,212. Notice this next ring above right here. Price kind of rode down. This is support and resistance, and then we dropped down to 3,927. That is what I'm showing you on this chart back here, right? Our support level. It's very possible that could be our next support. All right, hold on, guys. So again, so this would be our next potential support level, but what I'm going to show you on that published chart, notice right here, this orange ring is 64,694. On this chart, that is this ring right here. And again, this was published on November 14, 2020. Watch what happens when price hits this ring up here. Perfect rejection. I mean, literally to the dollar, we came down. Notice we rode up this ring right here. As soon as we broke it, we dropped. This ring is very important. I'm going to show you this ring as well. So this is the chart, and you can see how this is played out. Again, got rejected, hit it, got rejected, found support down here twice, found support again. Every time we dropped, the stock market dropped as well. So if the stock market comes down and hits one of the two targets I gave you, there's a lot of damn confluence down here. You have this support level, and you have this orange fib circle that price has been respecting for years. And keep this in mind. Every time Bitcoin crashes, it crashes at a minimum, all right, at a minimum of 86 to 84%. This crash back in 2013, 2015 was an 86, almost 87% crash. Well, let's measure this one here. How much did we crash when we hit 20K? We dropped a total of 84%. Let me pull this over. So that's 84%. And if we drop, let's just say we drop 86% from our all-time high, right? That would be around, what, 9,466. That's why I'm saying 10,000 seems like a likely target. But with everything going on, the stuff I just showed you, a black swan convention, you don't think it's possible we could drop 90%? 90% brings us down to $6,500. I know that sounds insane, but again, it all depends on the stock market. If the stock inflation's sky high, if they keep raising interest rates, historically, when they raise interest rates, the stock market drops. Unemployment goes up. So if Bitcoin follows the markets and the market has a major correction, yeah, Bitcoin could come down this low. And this is just what the chart shows. You can see how well price is respecting this orange fib circle. And that just happens to be a target right at support. So again, that's a possible target. And if you'll take note, I'll show you this ring in another chart. This ring is going to show us the top if we push up. I have two charts in confluence, and I think it's going to push price down. So let's go on to the next chart. Okay, so this chart here, I'm going to show you on, again, these are two charts I published, but I'm going to show you how I was able to find. So I already showed you how I was able to find this top with that orange fib circle. That was this peak here. But notice right here, this line right here was on a chart I had for a while. This helped us find the top here at when we topped out at 67,150. And because of this chart, adding a fib channel to it, I was able to predict before we hit this point too short. So let me show you this. So I'm going to show you this line right here on a chart. That's this one right here. So notice, all right, so it's going to be this line. I think it's this one right here. It's either this one or this one. But watch what happens when price hits. I think it's this one right here. This is published on December 14, 2020. I'm going to hit play. All right, so it is that line right there. So this line, let me zoom in a bit. This green line, see how it came up as resistance, support? We rode right down this line and then bounced on this ring, right? That is this line right here that we moved down and then we finally pushed up. And adding a fib channel, since we knew this was an important trend line in this fib channel chart, this gave me this point here to know too short before we hit it. And that is this chart right here. This what I just showed you, this line right here, and that's how I was able to come up with this projected point too short. Again, this is published on March 23rd. I said when we hit this line too short, and look what happened. Every time we hit it, we got rejected. This was 40K. We all shorted that. Price came down. Notice we found support here. So I'm showing you the highest point we can go. I have so many charts in confluence. If we push up, I can tell you exactly where we'll get rejected, and I have also added some fib circles to some charts to show me that potentially our next drop is going to be early next week, and it just so happens that's when they're going to be releasing the CPI data. So this is that chart. Again, this is where I was able to find the top, and this is where I told you guys to short when we hit this line. And notice we came down. Now I added this yellow fib circle, and it just so happens, you can see how well price has been respecting it. As support, resistance. Notice we rode down it as support, came up as resistance, pushed up, dropped, found support on it, and we're about to cross this ring, right? We're about to cross this ring. It just so happens August 10th. I mean, we'll actually cross this ring on the 7th, but you can see what happens every time we cross a ring. We'll get a pump, and then we'll get a dump. So it happens we cross this ring pretty soon, and again, the CPI data comes out early next week. So I think it's very possible we could get a pump. But again, what I'm saying is all these charts are showing 24,900, 24,500 is the top. This is the line I've been telling you guys since we bottomed down around 17,000, that if we pushed up, the top would be this fib channel line. It goes back since the beginning of Bitcoin. We hit it, we got rejected. 23,864. We hit it again like 2 or 3 times. We got rejected, 24,400. So if we push up, the top will be around 24,800, potentially 24,900. Just showing you what's in the charts, guys. So I think it's very possible once we cross this ring, we'll drop. This is another chart in Confluence. I added a fib circle to the A1 chart, and it just so happens, and guys, if you watch my tutorials, you understand how I find these points with these fib circles. It's based on the fib channel chart. I created this fib circle here in so many different ways, and every time I do it, it always lands between August 8th and August 10th, where there's something that's going to happen. And notice how this works. Notice right here, we came down as support, resistance, resistance, support, became resistance, resistance, and we're just now coming up to this ring that just happens to be around August 10th, again, early next week, and they're releasing the CPI data. In another chart in Confluence, you can see this line right here has been a lot of resistance. That gives you a target right here at 24,500, and remember that ring I showed you at the beginning of this video? But that is this one, hold on guys. This ring right here is a top. This fib circle, this ring, is this ring right here. Let me draw an arrow. I'll put an arrow in here, guys. Hold on. So again, that is that same ring. So even if we push up, which is possible, they could release the CPI data. It's bad. Everybody expects a short. It might get a push up to 24,500, but that will be the top. 24,500, 24,800, that will be the top if we push up, and then it's down from there. I think we'll move down the inside of this ring. And I think this blue ring is going to be a pivot point. Potentially, we could ride up this ring, but once we cross it underneath this white ring, I think we're going to come down. Okay, guys, so the Dow Jones. This was a chart I created a while back. I published this on March 5th, 2021. Now, in this chart, I got it wrong. But what I was saying was, as long as we were below this ring, I would expect us to crash down to 27,472 or 27,427. However, if we push above and hold support, then we push up to the next orange ring. What I want to point out, while I have these orange rings, they're thick so you can see them, these are kind of ghosted. You can see there's 1, 2, 3. If you notice right here where this white line is a resistance level, notice it intersects this orange ring. That actually was the top, and that is this chart right here, 37,076. Notice what happens. Again, March 5th, 2021. When I hit play, look what happens. Perfect rejection right up here at this orange ring. That is this chart right here. So just further confirmation why it's possible we could have a major move on or around the 10th, again, because of the CPI data. But I would just like to point out, notice I have these, it measures the time. This right here. Notice that when we peaked, let me zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. Notice when we peaked up here, right? So when we peaked to the point we dropped was 9 days, right here. It was 9 days. Our peak right here before we dropped was 9 days. Right here, our peak before we dropped was 7 to 8 days. Right here, our peak was right here. Before we dropped was what, about 13 days, 12 days. Right here, our peak to when we dropped was 10 days. Right here, you can see we pushed up above this orange ring. It was about, what, 13 days before we dropped, 12 days, the next candle we dropped. It just so happens the CPI data comes out on the 10th. This is what? This is 12 days. So that means within 12 days, just going by these bars on the daily on the Dow Jones, every time at least 10 to 12 days on average, we have a drop. So potentially, you could have some ups and downs, but at this point, and I guess, let's look at hold on here. So it's the weekend, Sunday, so Monday will be the 8th, Tuesday, Wednesday, so Wednesday would be the 10th. So we could have some up and down, but at this point, this is when it could come crashing down. And I'm just telling you, I'm expecting the CPI data to come in hot. I gave you my 2 targets. This is another chart, guys, so I'm going to show you this one. This is this right here. You can see I have this yellow vertical line, and you can see this green ring right here. I was expecting when we hit this green ring something would happen. This chart was published on August 22nd, 2021. I was expecting us to move underneath this ring. How it played out is we actually went down this ring. We rode down the outside of it. This is based on every time we hit one of these rings previously, we get rejected, rejected, rejected. This one we had a COVID crash, came down to support, rejected. So it made sense. We'd hit this and move down the inside of it. Well, you can see what happened. It did play out as a pivot, but we started riding down this ring. And I think it's very possible we could come down to our next support level. This was the 45% correction. The 56% correction is much lower. But again, I think we'll continue to ride down this ring until we bottom. This is the actual chart, and this is just showing you this orange fib circle, how well price has been respecting it. Notice we peaked right here. This was a top before the COVID crash on this orange fib circle. We bottomed on this one. This was a peak right here. We dropped. We pushed up to this next one, was a peak. Support, another peak, support. We're just bouncing between these rings, right? And we pushed up. This is when I made that prediction right here that I was saying if we did not get above this point, we would come back down to this point, right? But we pushed above it and we kept going up. Well, you'll notice we topped out right at this ring. This was the top for the Dow. We came down, we held support, another top right here, almost to the dollar, 35,313. And this is that green ring. There's a lot of confluence. Now there is a support level here to watch around 26,443. I think we'll hold for a bounce. I mean, you can see that's what happens. You have a drop, you have a bounce, you have a drop, you have a dead cat bounce. I think this is a bear market rally. I think we have a lot more downside. But I'm just showing you guys there's a lot of confluence down here for this first target to catch a bounce. But then I think we have a lot more downside. I just showed you that on a previous chart. So guys, this is the chart I gave everybody access to put into the Bigot exchange. I gave you coordinates for it. This found resistance perfectly at 22,614. We found support right here at 22,786. Then we found support down here at 22,391. We got a lot of chop above this point. We found support at 22,868, and currently we're under resistance at 23,156. This is how this chart played out. This is the A1BG chart. A1BG means it's the name of the chart's A1 is for the Bigot platform. Right here, this is the published version. I published this on August 2nd, so you can see how this played out. Again, you can see we pushed up, got rejected, found support again, found support here, got rejected, found support. So it's the exact same chart. You can see how it played out. So again, this is a video where I showed you how to get that Bitcoin chart into the Bigot platform. Remember, my affiliate link's pinned down in the first comment description if you want to create an account. If you want to watch this video, you can get that Bitcoin chart into the Bigot platform to trade. But in this video, I told you guys I'm giving you an ETH chart. That is this chart right here. I already have the object tree. If you watch the other video, I go into more detail. I'll show you how to do a trade, how to do a long and a short. But I'm going to do this quick and dirty just so you can get access to this Ethereum chart, see how accurate it is. And the reason I'm giving you access to these charts is because I want you guys to see how accurate these charts are, because when you see how accurate they are, you'll come back and want to get access to my charts. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do this real quick, guys. I know this video ran kind of long. So this is, if you go under Bigot, you go under USDT futures, and I am under the Ethereum chart. It says ETH USDT. So basically all you have to do, I'm going to give you the coordinates. I'm going to import a couple fib channels and a couple trend lines, and then I'm just going to double click it and then just give you the coordinates. Let me zoom in so you can see this. Make sure that you can type them in. Alright, so basically these are fib channels. So the first thing you want to do is, if you're in Bigot, again, affiliate link pinned in the first comment, create an account, and then come back and again I'll give you the individual coordinates. But basically once you're in Bigot and you click on, again, this is an Ethereum USDT chart. So right here, this the third tool down is a fib channel. Just click on that and draw a fib channel at any angle, it does not matter how. Double click it, click on coordinates, and right here I'm going to give you the coordinates for each one of these. So the first fib channel is right here. So I'm going to type this in. This is just showing you how to get the fib channels in. So 276.26. The next box is 1311.46. And by the way, a lot of people said they had issues with Firefox and Opera. Make sure you use Chrome. I have had no issues with Google Chrome. Nobody else has. For some reason, on some of these other web browsers, the lines don't match. But if you use Chrome, it should work. All right, 1184.91. Let's see, negative 2441. All right, 31. 2.73 and negative 2.118. All right, so you can see I got this fib channel in, and you can't tell which one it is, but actually it's this one right here. So let me bring the next one in. So again, all you have to do, let me zoom out so you can see how this is looking. So you can see this is our resistance currently we're coming down from. So the next fib channel, again, just draw a fib channel. It doesn't matter how you draw it. Double click it, and go to your coordinate box, and I'm going to double click on this one. Same thing. So now I'm going to enter the coordinates for this fib channel, which is 3082.56. This one is 1893.59. This one is 1691.31. Negative 801. Oh, make sure I get that right. All right, negative 801. 1434. Negative 909. And then you can see, now you can see that fib channel line matches. And the reason I have these white trend lines here is to show your strongest support and resistance levels. When I get this in, I'll show you the actual chart and explain it to you. So if you want to add these trend lines, again, this white trend line here, this one, these are your strongest support levels. If we drop, all of these lines will be respected. It's just looking at the chart, this is your strongest support, this is your strongest resistance. This would be an ideal point to short, ideal point to long. So if you want to get the trend lines in, guys, and by the way, if you want to make sure these fib channel lines extend out, you can double click it and then click on style and click extend left and extend right. That makes them go on for infinity, so you have these lines to play further on. So that's for fib channels. The second tool down is the very first one. It's called a trend line. You can draw a trend line any angle, double click it, get the coordinate box, and right here let me give you this first trend line. Just showing you how to get fib channels and the trend lines in, guys. So it is 2342.50. The next one is 1240.74. This one is negative 1317, and this one is 1603. So you can see that trend line, and actually you can see it's parallel. If you add the other fib channel lines in, there's a fib channel for this point as well. Right here, let's see. So you can see that is this fib channel line right here. So bring all of these elements in and you'll have an exact copy of this chart. Let me give you all of these. So I'm just going to click on each one. If you're importing the chart into BitGet, all you have to do is just pause the video and get the coordinates. So this is the first fib channel right here. This is the second one. The third one. The fourth one, the fifth one. This is all the fib channels you'll need, and these are your most important trend lines. So this is the first one, the second one, the third one, and the fourth one. And really quick, let me just show you this chart, and let me zoom out. I just want to show you why these are important support levels. And guys, as I always tell you, always zoom out and just look left, and you'll see why these are so important. You'll notice this fib channel line right here. Notice how much support this was. Support, 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 support. So that means if we push up, this line is going to be a lot of resistance. Actually, that is currently support. This previous support level is going to be support again. So this is going to be very strong support level too long. And you can see the line just above, that would be this line right here. Let me pull it back. That was a lot of resistance. So if we push up, again, you can have this actual chart to trade within BitGet. But if we push up, well, your next point to short Ethereum is going to be right here, potentially 1,767. Your next point too long is down here, 1,647. And again, this is a support level. Just look left. See how much support and resistance this was right here. So you know this is a support level here. And your strongest support level will be this white line here. Just go back and look left. So depending when you make contact, 1,271. Now here's 1,240. And we're going to respect these lines at an angle too. You can see this was a lot of support and resistance. So if we come down, that will be a support level. Especially if you hit, let's say, this support level here. at the same time you hit this support level here. That'd be an ideal point to go into long. But again, that's just showing you how to get the chart into Bitget and just showing you how this chart works. This is an Ethereum chart for you to trade. Guys, again, if you want to access these charts, website to opticalartcrypto.com. Link be pinned first comment description. $49 a month, get access to the Bitcoin charts, altcoin charts, Discord, and Twitter. But guys, that's it. Again, I expect inflation data to be hot. Even if we get a pump, I think we'll top out at a certain point and then come crashing down. Guys, that's it. Trade safe, trade smart. I'm out.